What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you want to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. Y'all get that Tej pack? Y'all get that Tej pack? What up, ATL Big Diesel? Says top of the morning from Atlanta. What up to all of my people in the building? What up? What up to my dog Ash? Good morning. M. Johnson, what up to Milwaukee? Hey, let me know where y'all from up in the chat. I want to know where everybody from in the chat. What up to all of my people? I want to know where y'all at. I see Detroit in the building simply because I know my people. I know some of my people and they from Detroit. Mellyville says they from Milwaukee. What up to Milwaukee in the building? What up to Atlanta? What up to Detroit? Charlotte is in the building. What up, Demetrius? DMV, Louisiana. Woo! Charleston, South Carolina, Tampa, DMV, Columbus, Miami, my second home, DC, Cabo. You up in Cabo? Oh my fucking God. Hold on. Let me see what's happening out here. Jacksonville, Baltimore, LA and Vegas, Orlando, North Carolina, Elk Grove, California, Strong Island, Memphis, Chicago. What up, Chi-Town? Dallas from Chicago, Alabama, Southern Cal, SoCal in the building. What up, SoCal, Texas, Kansas City. What up, Kansas City? I need to know where my people from. Fort Lauderdale in the building. Mississippi, MISSIPPI in the building. What up? Cincy. Hey, I love Cincinnati. New Hampshire. I ain't know y'all was up in New Hampshire. What up? St. Louis in the building. Queens. Big up the Queens. Hey, Queens. Y'all know y'all coming. I ain't going to say Queens, but I don't see nobody from Brooklyn in here yet, so I'm going to bring Brooklyn to the front of the congregation. More, Richmond, Cincy, Orlando. What up, San Antonio? Yeah, Bama in the building, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I love OKC. What up to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the building, Maryland, ATL, Indianapolis. I'm going to be in Indianapolis this weekend. Y'all ain't even know that. Shh. Actually, I'm not going to be in Indianapolis. I'm going to be in Louisville, Kentucky this this weekend. So shout out to Louisville. Shout out to my Grand Rapids people out in the building. What up, what up, what up? Vegas, Bronx, Maryland, Cleveland, Dallas, the Bahamas. Pittsburgh is my favorite city. What up to that black and yellow in the building? Virginia, what up, what up, what up? Yeah, I see y'all. Tennessee, Naptown, Spokane, Dallas. What up, Devonna? What up to all of my people? I hope y'all feeling good this morning. I'm feeling absolutely Lincoln, Nebraska. What up? So basically what y'all telling me is that, no matter where I go, I'm good. That's what y'all telling me. Y'all basically telling me no matter where I go, whether I go to Columbus, Chicago on the west side, NYC Dirty Bronx, 757, Pittsburgh, y'all telling me no matter where I go, I'm good out here in these streets because I'm always going to have family somewhere. Up in Strong Island. Y'all in Tokyo? I'm going to be in Tokyo next month. No matter where I go, I'm good. I love that I got family. What up to all of my friends and family? Welcome to the Millionaire Morning Show. It is Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. We are in the building. Shout out to all of my bag chasers and my Patreon members. If you are not a part of the tribe and the Patreon, Q was in the building, put on an awesome show. Awesome show last night. If you are not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm dropping a video today. Hey, I was going to do a live stream today, but I'm going to push it to Sunday. Because I had an interview that came up really quickly. So we're doing a live stream in the Patreon on Sunday. I'm going to give y'all some time to prepare. I know on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, y'all get a little mosey, lazy, chilling. We can go in, we can kick it, we can talk about that money, we can talk about that bag. If you are not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Come get this money. Hey, Tokyo Wi-Fi. Tokyo got the best technology in the world. And I'm going to be live streaming from Tokyo. What up to all of my friends and family? Hey, if y'all ain't got that Teej Hanley also, ladies, order the Teej for your mans because you know that your man ain't going to be doing what he's supposed to do. He keep talking about he going to get around to it. He's supposed to fix the light, change the light bulb, go over there and get the dishwasher taken care of. And he was supposed to get his Teej Hanley. And shout out to 8 Mile Sconey Island in Detroit. That's where I'm from. Make sure that your friends get their Teej Hanley. Ladies, order the Teej for your man. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Shout out to Reese is in the building with the fireball on Cash App. Mike, that dude, is in the building. Brian Horsley sent the fireball on Cash App. Let me get my early super chatters out the way. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Big M Dub is in the building, says, good morning. Black women in Dubai get arrested for screaming at the man in public. Yeah, we covered that last night. Make sure y'all go and check out Island Girl Q's show last night on the Anton Daniels channel. I appreciate you, Big M. Fanny P says, in the last few videos, I've noticed that you're really trying to change and be a bigger person. Thank you for noticing. I can see the fight in your mindset and the way you approach certain combos. You're trying. I'm proud of you. I appreciate it. We all got to elevate. You know, I'm going to speak on that today, right? Before we get into the show, thank you, Fanny P, for giving me that love and that heads up. Let me speak on that today, and then we going to go forward, all right? Because I got a full show. I want to talk about a 15-year-old that was shot in Brooklyn in broad daylight. I want to talk about how trash Portland, Oregon is. I want to bring the young lady who I was skeptical of, and I talked about it yesterday, but I was skeptical of her, and she said that she found a baby on the side of the highway, and Candace Owens called out the bullshit. I'm going to bring her up. We're going to talk about them changing corporate office buildings in an apartment, so we're going to get to the money. Shout out to J Dubs. Let me make sure I highlight the G in the building. Shout out to J Dubs. Says, Indiana, freshly moved. I couldn't join the meetup, but you add more value than you know. Accountability, how to get to the bag, and capitalism. May God continue to bless you and your family. Thank you, my friend. Thank you to everybody that support the platform. I don't ask for it, but you guys see the value in what it is that we do here, so I'm going to make sure that I acknowledge every single person. I don't care if you give 99 cents. I don't care what you give. I like to acknowledge people because you didn't have to do it. And I want to let me just make sure that I acknowledge J-Dubs and all of my truckers, every single person that's in a cubicle right now. They got their headphones in, they got their AirPods. Let me acknowledge everybody that's working from home, all of my ladies that's out here getting to that bag, making that money. Shout out to my truckers that's over the road that tap into the Millionaire Morning Show every single morning. Shout out to people in the plant. Shout out to my warehouse workers. Shout out to my Amazon workers. Shout out to my office workers. Shout out to the couples that's working together inside of their household, that's getting that bag, that's coming together. Shout out to my people that's administrative. Shout out to my call center workers that's in the call center or working from home. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for putting me up on the big screen, all of my barbershop people. Shout out to y'all. Let's continuing to get this bag because you know that we do nothing but come back to the money. All right? But let me say something. All right? Let me cook up for a minute. One of the things that I talked about when I was in New York, I dropped a video on the Anton Daniels channel. And on that channel, I dropped a video and I said that I reached out to all of my enemies. All of my enemies. Shout out to my HVAC techs. Shout out to my brothers getting the bag, my fellas in the building. Come on, man. I expect for my men to get the bag. I ain't gonna sit here and call out everybody. I can't acknowledge everybody, but if you a guy and you ain't bag chasing, then what the fuck we doing? You know what I'm saying? And recently, again, I dropped a video while I was in New York, and it burned my soul because I said, yo, one of my mentors told me, Anton, write out a list of everybody that you would consider an enemy and reach out to them and make it right. And so I did. And it burned my soul because I reached out to about 9 people. I'm going to be honest with you. And I had my daughter with me. And she was like, Dad, that's a hard thing to do. But I reached out to them. Right? And the first six people that I reached out to, they said, fuck you, Anton. I don't give a fuck about what you coming out me. I don't care that you want to be a nice guy. I don't care that we above 40. I don't care if we got kids. Keep that same motherfucking energy that you had, and it's up. Now you got to remember, most of these people that I reached out to, I've never met them in real life. However, there has been some friction, whether it was on their side and it started or whether it was on my side. The blame, we're not playing the blame game. We playing a grown man game right here, right? We playing a grown man game. And so I was very dismayed because the one thing that's the most difficult for us all, and one thing that I like to do is I like to wear my passion on my sleeve, and I also like to be transparent about what it is that I'm going through, good and bad, because it allows for me to then hold you accountable because I first did myself. I would never advocate for y'all to do something that I'm not doing myself. So it was important that I did it not only for me, not only for my daughter, for her to see it, but also for you. Also for you. And I'm not going to say no names. I'll say one name. And the reason that I'm going to say one name is because one of these names you publicly know. There's some people that's public and y'all know, and some people not so much. But one of the names was one of the last 3. So I reached out to 9 people. The first 6 says, fuck you. And so I really felt bad. I felt like a fool because I'm like, man, I done reached out to these people and they done slapped my hand. Some of them probably is screenshotting the message that I sent them so that they can put it on social media with my phone number on it because I reached out and I said, hey, let's have a conversation or let's meet up in person. And, let's solve for whatever our issues are. And some of them was like, fuck you, Anton. And then when I calmed down, I realized 2 things, right? The first thing is, and this is before the last 3 that I talked to that actually had a conversation and we resolved it. I realized 2 things. The first thing is, you can't expect for every single person to operate on your time. So maybe they still feeling a certain type of way. And so just because I reached out to them, and this is the understanding in me, right? Just because I reached out to them don't mean that they fully recovered from whatever it is that they felt like our friction was. And so what I did was, after I got over my ego on the first 6, I sent the follow-up text message to all of them. And I said, yo, Well, you got my number. You don't even know what it is that I wanted to discuss with you, but you got my number. And if you ever feel like you want to have a conversation, I'm here. After I let my fucking ego go, I sent a follow-up text message and I said, listen, I get it, but I'm here if you want to have a conversation. I'm a grown man. I'm not about that life. I want to be able to move on and have peace and love. So, you got to have a level of understanding. And I'm having this conversation with y'all for a reason, because I'm expecting for y'all to have this same generosity, the same love, the same forgiveness, and more importantly, the same understanding. You can't get mad at them because they don't respond to you in a time frame that you feel like is necessary in order for y'all to resolve the issue. You got to leave it out there. You got to be willing to be embarrassed. You got to be willing to have somebody screen grab you and say, fuck this nigga. I knew that he wanted to be a sucker. I knew that he was weak. I knew he didn't want to fight. You got to be able to leave that shit out there, because the goal is to solve for the situation, not necessarily inflate your ego. So that's the first thing that I learned. And then the second part of the lesson was, it came in the last three. Because just because you reach out in the beginning don't necessarily mean that it's a lost cause. And one of the people that I talked to on the phone, I had a conversation with, and I'm not going to tell y'all the details of it, but one of the people that I talked to JR from Lapeef, right? And I said that's the one name that I share with y'all because y'all are familiar with him. And it wasn't cool. I felt like I was wronged. He probably felt like he was wronged. And again, I'm not going to explain no details of it or whatever, but what I've realized is that my strength is in my growth. It's not in my past. So me continuing to hold on to things from the past was hindering how far I was going to be able to take myself, because I'm so busy focused on how it is that we were, except for how it is that I can be. I'm not looking to be friends. I'm not looking to do business with people again. But what I am looking to do is continue to resolve it so that I don't have to continue to have that on my shoulders, and I can let that shit go. Forgiveness is not just for them. Forgiveness is for you too. Forgiveness is not for them. It's for you too. Right? And so, no, I'm 99% sure that we will never do nothing again, because I'm not interested, and I don't know how you feel about that. That's not the conversation that we had. But the thing that we did do is we buried that shit. We had a handshake agreement. We moving on. And so I said, you know what? That's cool. And then right after that, two other people, yo, Ty, yeah, let's go. And then one of the people I am going to wind up linking up with at some point. But my point is that y'all got to understand, I'm not asking y'all to go back and hang out with people and spend time with them and all of that other type of shit. What I'm asking y'all to do is to release yourself from your past so that you can fucking run into your future. I'm asking you to release yourself from your past so that you can run into your future. That's it. At the end of the day, I don't want anything to be on my shoulders. Not a burden, not a worry, not a care. And I've always prayed the prayer to forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. In Jesus' name, amen. Right? And so as a result, if I'm going to pray that prayer, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, if I'm going to be forgiven according to how I forgive other people, then I got to be without spot, wrinkle, and blemish. Because I can't expect for God to love me and forgive me and hold and embolden me to continue to go in this direction if I'm forgiven according to how I treat other people. So I got to let that shit go. If you're loved according to how you love, if you're blessed according to how you blessed, if you're forgiven according to how you forgive, because none of us are without blemish, then I got to let that shit go. It's for you. It's not just for them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm imploring you guys, no matter who it is, whether it's your mother, your father, I don't care what they did to you. I don't care how much you were wronged. If it's a brother, if it's a sister, if it's a former friend, one time, reach out. Don't chase them. Don't beg them. Reach out. Resolve that shit. Put your ego down and then let it go. Let it go. it will be so much better for you in the long run than for you to hold that shit in and harnessing it because it's preventing you from getting to your greatness. That's all I'm saying. Let that shit go. And let me add something else in there, a caveat. Some of y'all did some people wrong and you tried to forget about it like it ain't never happened before. Some of y'all need to make a phone call because you're not the person that got wrong. You the person that did somebody else wrong. And then you tried to act like you didn't do it, like it was toxic people around you. No, you was the toxic one. Some of y'all did some shit that you need to call somebody and resolve and say, my bad, I apologize. I shouldn't have did that shit. We all acting like we all above it and that we all above reproach and that we ain't did nothing to nobody. It's somebody that you need to call and resolve that shit. Come on, man. Let's be for real. Some of us is the toxic friend. Some of us are the toxic friend. You done fuck somebody's husband. You done, listen. If they don't know, I'm not saying go over there with a confession. All I'm saying is if you did something you wasn't supposed to do, don't be over here ruining no families. But if it's something that you need to resolve because it is something that's visible, that's playing out because of you, you need to go and fix that shit. Come on, y'all, and don't let our egos control us. Some of y'all done did something to somebody and you need to get some love in your heart and go over there and show them some love. Now, I'm not telling y'all that Anton is not going to fall back into his weaknesses sometimes because God ain't done with me yet. But I pray to God that I don't. I pray to Jesus. I pray every single day, God, give me the strength and let me continue to go from strength to strength and become a better version every single day based off of the fact that I'm growing and I'm loving and multiply my results based off of my efforts. Multiply my results based off of my effort. Give me 10 times the result of the effort that I'm trying to do good. All right? That's love. All right, let's get into the show. Let me read a couple super chats, and then we're going to get it popping. I'm still working on Q, y'all. I know y'all see her in the chat. She talking about, nope. I'm still working on her. Don't worry about it. She under me. She under my covering. I got you. I'm going to have a conversation with her. I'm going to bring her to the front of the congregation personally and privately. All right. Shout out to Zach. He said, man, appreciate that. Shout out before I found your show. Work for me was literally hell. We don't have to live in hell. We don't have to live in hell. It's heaven. It's heaven out here in these streets. Miss Crow T. Shetty is in the building, always showing me love. Thank you for the fireball. Thank you for showing me love. I appreciate y'all. Y'all ready to get into the show? Y'all ready to get into the show? All right. Before we get into the Candace Owens conversation, and I'll be reading super chats throughout the show, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Tej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Fellas, if you're not going to do it for yourself, ladies, go ahead and make sure that they get it. Brooklyn, New York. New York. I'm going to need to bring y'all to the front of the congregation. NY. I need to bring y'all to the front of the congregation. When this pandemic hit, I was very much perplexed. Because what they basically did, the residual effects of these masks, was basically allowing people to walk around like bandits and robbers. Bandits and robbers. What these masks did was allow for people to be able to legally walk around and cover their face while out here doing shit that they're not supposed to do. So I've been getting a lot of stories out of New York lately, and I just got back from New York. I said, y'all not going to be out here making things bad out here in these streets right after I left. Are y'all? I love me some New York. There's a lot of people in New York. Y'all not going to be out here messing up the bag for the people that's going to visit New York, are y'all? However, New York, it's your turn. It's your turn, New York. So again, shout out to Anthony. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Let's go ahead and bring Brooklyn to the front of the congregation, ladies and gentlemen.
But we begin this afternoon with breaking news out of Brooklyn, where a 15-year-old was shot in broad daylight on the street. And good afternoon, I'm David Navarro.
And I'm Liz Cho. This is all unfolding on 62nd Street in Bensonhurst. The teen was rushed to the hospital in critical condition.
Eyewitness News reporter Tom Negervan just spoke to witnesses on the scene. Joins us live from Brooklyn with more. Tom.
David and Liz, that 15-year-old shot in the back just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Residents here really stunned and really fearful right now. They say this is a very diverse neighborhood filled with young families, small businesses. It's been a very long time since anything like that has happened anywhere near here. They say it happened this afternoon just after 1 o'clock. Newscopter 7 over the scene just minutes after that as police and first responders gathered here. Police still here, a very large police presence at the scene. Witnesses say the 15-year-old boy shot once, rushed to the nearest hospital. His condition very grave at that time, according to first responders. They say there was a group of young people gathered here in the street, a group of teens around 1 o'clock this afternoon. FDR High School is just a couple of blocks away when suddenly about 5 shots rang out, they say, which would line up with the number of evidence markers we see here at the scene. They say then the teens scattered in all directions, including the victim, who they say wounded, ran about half a block before collapsing in the street.
How wild is this, y'all? How wild is it that the main people that we have to fear, because I'm a 41-year-old. Listen, once you get past a certain age, you're looking for peace. You like, man, I done overcame. I done got out the hood. My daughter is 15, going on 16, about to get her license. I'm trying to make sure that she go to college safely. My mom is taken care of. Once you get past a certain threshold in your life, and once you grow up, I was talking on a panel last night, and at the end of the show, if y'all stayed through the end of the show, it was a lot of people y'all rocked out with us last night. I was rocking on the panel last night, and I said to myself, and I said to Steve, the Man Mindset, shout out to the Man Mindset. I said to Steve, I said, bro, I'm 41. He said, I'm 51. I said, at what point do we start to leave the bullshit behind and we say, you know what, we won? You won. When you get past a certain age, and I'm going to be honest with you, I just can never imagine what my life would be like at 40. I never imagined that I would get to 40 years old. When you get to a certain age, you start adjusting your 401k to be a little less aggressive because you've reached certain milestones and thresholds. You start to make sure that you got enough money for your retirement and everything is going well. Your view, your outlook change. You start trying to figure out how it is that you can travel the world. The people that you have to fear aren't really the people that's above 40. It's the people that's 15. 20 through 30, you might be able to get away with stepping on somebody's shoe mistakenly. 15, you step on a little 15 nigga's shoe, you better apologize because he got him from StockX. He overpaid for him. He couldn't afford them. He probably stole some money in order to go and buy them. And so he trying to show off for his friends in order to get clout. And so you were op to him, even though you stepped on his foot at 15. A 40-year-old man got to be the bigger person. It's no longer reverse. It's no longer to where you got to respect your elders. You got to respect the youth now. Ain't that wild? I got to make sure that I'm respecting the youth instead of the youth making sure that they respect the OGs.
I heard 5. Yes, 5 shots.
So you didn't immediately identify it as gunshots?
I wasn't sure, I'll be honest with you. But it sounded to me, because I was in the army, it was like 100% gunshot. But I'm not sure, I wasn't sure in this neighborhood, you know?
Not something you expect here?
No, this is the first time. It's crazy.
No one believes it had happened in this neighborhood. No one who lives here anyway. They say the teens, most of them scattered toward the 20th Street subway station very close by. They believe the gunman may have run in that direction as well. He's still at large right now. Police still cruising around looking for him. Not much of a suspect at this point. A male wearing a gray sweatshirt and sweatpants.
Let me show you. Let me share a little bit more details with y'all, because we need to start bringing these people to the front of the congregation and identifying exactly who they are so we can get them off the street. And I know a lot of y'all, it's funny because when I see stories like this on like Instagram and I read the comments, you know what I hear from people a lot of times? They say stuff like, well, I'm glad that I seen a video where a dude ran up on a guy that was breaking into his car at the time, and he was like, and he had the heater out, and he was like, get the fuck out my car, get the fuck out my car. And so the young dude came out and he gave him the key, he threw his screwdriver or whatever, so on and so forth. He was one of the Kia boys. And when I went through the comments, it was like, I'm glad they didn't kill him. Hopefully this is, I'm sure he gonna wake up after that. No, they don't. They be like, yo, God, let me live so I can go and get somebody else's car and steal their wheels and strip their car. They ain't checking to see whether or not you got car insurance before they take your car. They coming to take your shit. And so it's so many sympathizers, because the minute that somebody had identified and then blew their brains out in order to protect themselves, they would have been like, oh, Shep, oh, Shep. I don't know if y'all ever seen Above the Rim where Tupac was talking to Leon and he was like, oh, Shep, oh, Shep. Look at the picture that I'm showing on my screen right now. Let me play it for y'all so y'all actually understand what's going on out here in these streets.
First, we begin with breaking news out of Brooklyn, where a 15-year-old has been shot. Fox 5's Sharon Carlee joins us live from the scene in Bensonhurst. Sharon, what can you tell us tonight?
Yeah, Natasha, I am live here at right at the intersection of 62nd Street and 20th Avenue in Bensonhurst. And just a couple of hours ago, a 15-year-old, we're told by police, was shot in the chest. He's now in critical condition at Maimonides Medical Center. Take a look at this video that Fox 5 obtained of the disturbing shooting taken from a security camera on one of the stores here on the block. The violence unfolding in broad daylight on a crowded street.
Now check this out. Check it out. Thank God that we got the technology and the cameras to be able to rock out. It's regular, everyday people walking down the street. Regular, everyday people walking down the street, y'all. Check it out. I'm going to narrate through this so you can understand. It's 1 p.m. Eastern. People are walking down the street. They coming back from getting their lattes. They went to yoga. They on their lunch break. They on vacation. They trying to go and have a good time. They just walking down the street. New York is a city that you walk down the street. You don't necessarily need a car in order to do so. You see a group of young guys. Now, this is what they tell us to do. They say, don't stereotype. Don't matter if they got on hoods and it's 90 degrees outside. Don't matter if they got on masks, but they ain't never had COVID and they can breathe really well. Don't walk across the street. Don't stereotype. Don't do none of that. Walk normal and then wait for something to happen to you so that we can figure out how it is that we can adjust to it. Don't stereotype. God gave you these spidey senses for a reason. Ignore them, because we should not stereotype. We can't automatically label somebody as a threat before they actually do something to you. All right? So let me narrate this. You got these good white and black people all around. Okay.
Look, as you see, a group.
Immediately, a dude is walking with a bunch of other guys. You got a whole full street full of pedestrians and everybody out here. And he pulls out and he starts firing at somebody else across the street. He has a mask on. His friends has masks on. They all walking around. He's all blacked out. He got long sleeves, looks like a sweatshirt, fully masked up, shooting in 100-degree weather at the op, which just so happened to be another 15-year-old. Okay, cool. Now pay attention, y'all, because it's not just a shot. The context matters.
Group of teenagers walking.
Bam. Everybody duck. Everybody start getting scared. Everybody is is panicking. They don't know what to do. They hear shots. Apparently, it's 5 shots that fire off. And
the street when suddenly
first homie run. Now, here's the interesting thing about it, and this is why this is so egregious. Usually what happens is if you don't align with somebody or you're fearful of your life, you run away from the gunman, right? If I don't know him, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm walking down the street. I'm running. I'm going in a completely different direction. Now, he's shooting and he's going south, right? So he's going down the screen. He's shooting against the dude that's across the street. Broad daylight, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? First guy, gone. Now you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other dudes that's behind him, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that's behind him. Let's go.
you see the gun.
Now, first dude that's right behind him, he not even tripping. He just moving regular. The dude is still firing off, and he's still going in the same direction as the other guy. He not running. He not tripping over himself. He not trying to get up out of there. He's going in the same direction as the guy that's shooting, right?
Men in a hoodie,
look at him,
pull out a weapon and start.
Another guy with a backpack on, going the same way as the guy that's shooting, which means there's a strong possibility that they friends, that they know each other. He got a mask on too, a backpack, all black. He could have been one of the ones that was shooting at first, and then he maybe panicked, passed the heater to the other guy. And this is what it is that we dealing with in our societies, okay?
Shooting, you can see people.
The guy in the red shorts over there, he was about to run one way, but his friends is going a completely different way. He's going to run towards the guy with the gun because apparently he's a part of the crew also, okay?
Running,
look,
and witnesses say they saw.
And then it's another young dude that's running in the same direction that see the guy in the red shorts and say, hey, let's go towards our homie also. What I'm trying to show y'all and what I'm illustrating here, and shout out to Jason, I appreciate you for the super chats. I'm going to be reading that shortly. What I'm trying to show y'all right here.
5 shots being fired. We see markers for about 9 bullets out here now. One of those bullets, as we said, critically wounding.
Look, why would they pause, stop, stare across the street to see what happened, and then start running in the same direction as the guy that they was with, the homie, the gunman? Why would they do that? He probably about 12, 13 years old, and he about to crash out with his friends. He about to crash out with his friends because he just want to be along with the go along, get along crew. So these are the followers. These are the young dudes that's going to be crashing out, and they probably went back to the crib, and they was laughing and kikiing and haw-hawing and hoping that the 15-year-old that they hit, the other op, probably ran into each other in a locker back in school, and they feeling some type of way about it. What I'm trying to tell you is that it's bad out here. It's bad out here. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable walking around because at any time and in any place, somebody else can have an op and then they could just be shooting and they don't know how to shoot effectively. And it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and they just got a pistol off of the street and they're going to take their op out. Now you got a 15-year-old that crashed out. I don't feel safe.
15-year-old boy who was just walking down the street. Neighbors tell me that police were doing CPR before he was transported to the hospital. The deli owner who saw it all happen telling me that there has been a problem in this neighborhood with some gang activity. Neighbors I talked to are understandably concerned about what happened.
It's sad. It's depressing. I wish people would, be more careful and keep it safe for the community, but they don't care.
Well, I just checked with the police about a minute ago, and they told me they still have no arrests in this case, that there's been no status change. The 15-year-old remains in critical condition, and this is an ongoing investigation. It's hard to believe, Natasha, that this happened on a crowded afternoon. You could see there's so many stores and restaurants around here, and there were a lot of teenagers on the street when this happened. We're not too far from a high school, just about a block or so away.
So is this the group of people that y'all saying that we should support, love, and go back to our communities and neighborhoods in order to fix them? I'm supposed to put my life on the line for the potential to crash out in order to save a dude that don't even give a fuck about the pedestrians that's on the street that he's shooting around. He was shooting around everybody else in the middle of one. Listen, if you crazy enough to pull out a heater, Steve, you got to stop spamming the chat, fam. If you crazy enough to pull out a heater at 1 o'clock p.m. and shoot a 15-year-old boy, I don't want no part of this culture. I want zero parts of what it is that I see playing out in this culture. At all. I want zero parts of what I see happening in this community. Stop trying to save these people and walk away. Divest yourself. You're not saving nobody. You're not fixing nobody. They're more brave and brazen than they've ever been before. They're more empowered because they don't feel as though they're going to ever get caught. They don't even feel like you're going to hold them accountable. And when they go to jail, they feel like they're going to get 3 hots in the cot and it's going to be cool. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com is my email address. So just wanted to show y'all what's happening within y'all community. Wanted to bring Brooklyn to the front of the congregation. We not liking this. We not liking it. If you have the ability to be able to get out and you are a good person, get the fuck out. Leave, run, save yourself from the culture, from these women for the streets, for people that don't add value into your life. Get out before you become a victim in real life. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to get on with the show. Anthony is in the building, says, morning, Anton. What do you think about getting certified in UX design? And what do you suggest would be the best way to reconnect with God? That's a really good question. Let me go ahead and give you a ping for that. So the best way, it depends on what your education level is already. The best way to get into UX UI, we call it UX UI. It's not just UX design because UX stands for user experience. UI stands for user interface, right? So the user experience and the user interface are two different things. And there's several different roles that you can take within UX UI, right? You got a UX architect, right? Usually we'll also have a designer or a project manager sometimes, depending on how big the practice is. Because one of my jobs and my tasks was to build out UX practices at certain companies. You may even have a developer in order to illustrate how it is that you want things implemented to the developers that's also going to be developing the product that you're putting together. The best way for you to go into it, honestly, it depends on what your education level. A lot of times you can be an illustrator. You can have some form of design within your background. A lot of people come in from software engineering, but then they have this Photoshop background, Illustrator background, XD background, Figma background, and they start to develop for it. So I think that when you have an education or when you have some form of an education, you can then just go over and get certified or go and get a certificate for it, and then become a YouTube University student. Download XD because that is the platform that a lot of people are moving over into, and Adobe is going to buy certain software companies. But I think that you just need to start developing a portfolio. Start designing and putting stuff together and redesigning how you think things should go based off of a bad user experience that you notice with another application. Start putting together a portfolio. Start to take some courses in order to get certified and then master the software. As far as the conversation about how to reconnect with God, start reading your Bible. Start reading your Bible. I found some pretty dope churches. At one point, I would say maybe 3 years ago, I went on this journey where I went to go find a new church. And so I would go to different churches and just observe and stuff like that. Because I had already been reading my Bible and I had already been well versed in what the word is. But start reading your word, and then I think that God will lead you to where you're supposed to go. God is to be revealed, not to be forced on people. And so when you're ready, you'll start to adapt to and find people of similar like mind. And then I wind up going to, shout out to Josh. Josh is a really good guy here in Detroit, here at Motor City Church. down in downtown Detroit. He's a really, really good guy. I found him in inception. He had moved over from Texas in order to start a church here in Detroit. He's a white guy, and the church is absolutely exploding. So I got in on the ground floor, and I was able to contribute and participate and see what it is that he was building. And, they're really good people. So I think that you'll find your way. But I just think that you start with curiosity and reading your Bible, and then go and test the waters and see whatever it is that you find. And you don't just go to the first church that you rock out with. The same way that you vet women is the same way that you vet churches. Go and find out what feels good to you, and then rock out. Rock out. So that's a really good question. I like that question. Shout out to you. Big D's. Big Diesel was in the building. I appreciate you, Big Diesel. Says, I'm from Corinthro, LA, by way of Memphis, on the road traveling. I own a bus company in Memphis. How can I advertise with you? Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I do all business through my email. I don't do business over Instagram. I don't do business over YouTube. I do all business with my email. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And I'm going to get you set up, big dog. Mr. Maximus says, if they don't know it was me, I ain't apologizing. Oh, Jesus. At least ask for forgiveness from God or something. Good grief. Jason Stakeums. Shout out to Jason Stakeums. Says, NYC been overdue to get brought up. Bunch of stormtroopers out there hitting everybody or everything but their intended targets. And Mayor Eric Adams is absent. Shaking my damn head. Shout out to Jason. Jarice is in the building. Says, this is why people don't like ninjas. Shout out to Jarice. Dame is in the building. Shout out to Dame. Dame says, guy behind the shooter is recording for evidence. It's bad out here in these streets. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you have not already, get your Teach Handling 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And then also on top of that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's continue on with the show. Candace Owens. Now. I couldn't wait to get to this part of the story. Candace Owens is addressing this Carlee Russell situation. Candace Owens is addressing this Carlee Russell situation. Now, when this thing first popped off, I know they keep telling us to believe all women. I know they lean into the whole race thing and saying that women and black women don't get as much visibility as the other ones when things is missing and kidnapping. I know they want us to go and chase these chicks with the butterfly eyelashes and the BBLs and all of this other type of stuff. But we got to use our context clues. Thank you, Steven, my boy. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. We have to use our context clues. And the minute that this story popped off, and I talked about it yesterday, I said, I'm not going for it. No way. Let me tell y'all something. These chicks will have you out here crashing the fuck out, trying to believe the story that they putting together in order to make you exercise your resources, deploy your Twitter and your Instagram. They out here trying to get their followers up, and they will do it by any means necessary. Now, when this story first fucking came up and they told me that it was a baby on the interstate of Alabama, one of the busiest interstates in Alabama, I said, well, did anybody else see the baby? They said, who? The baby, the rapper? I said, no, this baby that was walking around in a diaper on the side of the road that she just so happened to see that nobody else seen. They said, hey, yo, shout out to Askia. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. They said, no, she the only one that's seen the baby, and she the only good Samaritan out here in these streets, and she disappeared. I said, no fucking way. They said, Anton, you being insensitive. I said, no, I'm not. I ain't nobody's fool. You not going to get me with a fake baby. Where the baby at? So she walked home, got home safely, walked in the house, no police presence, no problems, but the baby with a diaper on is still walking around with no problems. Okay, so we're going to explore it. I'm curious as to what Candace's perspective is. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. It's wild out here in these streets.
All right, guys, happy Monday. We are back in Nashville, and I'm very...
Let's do it like this. Let's move it forward. I'm going to scrub forward because I want to get actually to the meat and potatoes. I don't want to waste no time, all right?
Russell, she goes by Carlee Russell, went
Shout out
missing.
to Philip
The world
Sadiq.
found out.
Shout out to Philip Sadiq. I appreciate you for the 10 ball. I'm definitely going to be reading Super Chat shortly.
About this because of a man claiming to be her brother on TikTok. Take a listen.
My sister, Carlee Russell, is missing. My sister was traveling on I-459 after leaving work here in Hoover, Alabama. She spotted a toddler and she stopped to render aid as any decent human being with a heart would do. She contacted 911 as she's been taught, and then she spoke with one of our family members. My family member hears a scream, and then my sister vanishes along with that toddler. Her car and belongings were all left at the scene. We have no idea where she is. This story is not getting the national coverage that it should, and we all know why.
I never seen that before. I never seen the call for help from this guy that was allegedly her brother. People in the chat saying that he lying and that's not even her brother. This man is stoic. He's focused. He's articulating himself effectively. His words are enunciated properly. I never knew. I never knew. I never knew her. Just like Eminem. I never knew her. Be in a new house with a new car. So this is not getting the attention that it deserved because she's a black woman. Woman. Okay. Let's mind this out. I want to see where Candace is going with this.
Yep, we all know why. Heavily implied there is it's because she's black. That's the reason that the story is not getting national attention, which of course is so foolish. There are so many stories of people that go missing, and usually unless there's some angle that makes it interesting, people don't tend to follow up on it. It's sad, but that's the truth. You know, if a crackhead goes missing or a prostitute goes missing, there's typically not as much interest because you think, okay, they were living their lifestyles in a manner where maybe they ended up dead in some way, right? But that wasn't the case with Carlee Russell. In fact, I hadn't even seen his TikTok. I had read a small headline about the fact that she was missing. And what instantly compelled me to want to share this story and to give it as much attention as possible was the fact that there was a toddler that was included. You have a woman who's leaving work and she sees a toddler walking down a highway. She pulls over and then suddenly she's missing. It's even more horrific than that. They find her wig, her phone.
Not the wig and the phone. Wait. Somebody told me that we going to 1,300 people early in the stream and we a little low on likes. Y'all want to go ahead and hit that Tej Hanley commercial? 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Y'all want to do the Tej? We can do the Tej. Y'all want to go back to the throwback Tej commercial, or y'all want to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm? I'm just wondering. Just curious. They dropped the wig. So she said her wig was thrown off and the baby was missing. Where is this? Listen, who is this baby? That's the only thing I care about right now. The only thing I care about right now is where is the baby? Who is this toddler that's wiggling around on the interstate that ain't nobody seen but this woman? Who is this baby that's waddling down the interstate? Oh my God, it's a baby. Let me go and save the kids. Oh, I'm getting snatched up by my wig. Who is this baby? So you seeing a toddler waddling with no shoes on. Curly hair. About 1'3". You can see a 1'3" baby walking down the fucking state. Y'all fell for that. Y'all fell for that. If I was y'all, I would erase that off my Facebook, Threads, Twitter timeline, and Instagram immediately. Immediately. I can't believe y'all fell for it. I didn't fall for that shit.
Inside of her purse on the side of the highway. And by the way, the police had gotten there within 5 minutes.
Shout out to Kay Cooper.
Her phoning 911. And yet still, she was completely gone. So obviously, I texted my producers immediately. I said, I want to cover this story on Monday because it's terrifying. It's terrifying to think that this could actually happen to someone. And then I made sure to draw attention to it on my Twitter. I tweeted this. This is one of the more terrifying news stories I've read in a long time. I hope they find this toddler and Carlee Russell. So that was the public sentiment. Everybody was obviously concerned about not just Carlee Russell, but this alleged toddler that was walking down a highway in Alabama. How could you not be concerned? Everyone prayed for her safe return. And then prayers were answered. Miraculously, Carlee Russell turned up 48 hours later at her parents' home. And of course, that yielded more questions. People wanted to know, okay, should we still be looking for a toddler? Should we be concerned? Is there a crazy person on the loose? Is this a gang? Is this a cartel? What has happened here?
I was curious too. Who drove her home? Why did she just walk into her parents' crib? And why is that the end of the conversation? And how come ain't nobody trying to figure out where the baby at no more? Just curious. Let's continue.
Bizarrely, however, public sentiment had shifted. So at first, the brother condemned you if you weren't talking about Carlee Russell because of the color of her skin.
Facts.
Then you had a few people online who were saying that if you had any further questions about this story, now that Carlee Russell was home, well, then it's because you're a racist. Here are just a couple of tweets to that effect. First up, we have Gabrielle Perry. She wrote, "From the cradle to the grave, there is no humanity for Black women."
There is never going to be a shortage of victims of Black women. There is never, listen. You are damned if you do. You are damned if you don't. If you don't bring enough visibility to it, you're not compassionate and you don't protect Black women. And when you start asking too many questions, they be like, I'm sorry, sir, not your business. Thank you for using your platform in order to bring visibility and get my likes and my followers up. But what is you doing still talking about this? And why are you still trying to chase this baby? I should have put a toddler at the bottom of this, not Candace Owens. There is no humility for Black women. Wait a minute. You telling me we can use our platforms, resources, tax dollars, police presence, all of this, and we don't need closure? I want to close the case. I don't believe that we should have people snatching niggas up by their wig. So you telling me if we take Carlee Russell's wig off, she gonna be looking like me? Come here, girl. Come on, man. Come on, man. Usually y'all got like Yo. They said, Anton, you and her got the same hairstyle.
No room for mistakes, no graciousness in perfection. Immediate vilification in our errors. There is not one moment where our personhood can exist. Not even in relief of it not being stolen. Hashtag Carlee Russell.
Me and Carlee Russell is twins. Oh, Jesus Christ. Y'all catfishing and getting taken over by the side of the road.
Russell, oh my gosh, we should not be asking any questions. We're just supposed to be happy that she's alive. That's what she's implying here. It gets worse. Another person tweeted this.
God.
Please stop demanding what happened to Carlee Russell. The appetite for trauma porn for Black people is disturbing. From images of our bloody bodies posted repeatedly following violent death to our children in great distress. Give us peace and privacy as you do Carol.
So don't nobody want to know where the baby at. The only thing that matters is Black women. All right. I want to get to the conclusion of this because I have not seen the rest of what it is that she got to say. So this is the part where I cut it off. I said, all right, this is good enough for the story. We're going to bring Candace Owens to the front so that she can bring Carlee Russell to the front of the congregation. Y'all was telling me about it yesterday. All right, let's continue.
Ann and Dem. I guess they're just saying names that they think are white names there, being blatantly racist. Yeah, but that's it. If you wanted further answers, like a toddler walking down a highway and we're being told this woman was abducted at around 9:30 p.m. at night, then yeah, no, you're just into Black trauma porn. Now that she's home safe, you're supposed to just not ask any questions. Now, I want to make it clear that the majority of people did not fall for this, trying to racialize this instance. You called for national interest and attention. The story got national interest and attention. And now the national appetite would like some closure. It would like to know whether or not there is, in fact, a kidnapper on the loose. If there is somebody that is using a toddler to lure unsuspecting victims into a woods. If there is somebody who would in front of all of these cars on what is a busy highway, just grab someone out of their car and take them. That's scary stuff. Of course, there is public interest. But no, now they were trying to gaslight the public and say no further questions. I can tell you one thing that I found suspicious. The first thing is just the fact that she got allegedly dropped off at her parents' house.
I said the same thing. Listen, what kind of kidnappers kidnap you? Make sure that the baby is safe, that you went over to the highway to get. And then just do whatever they got to do and then say, hey, where you live at? Don't worry about it. You ain't got to walk. You ain't got to call the police. Don't worry about it. I'm going to just drop you off at the crib. You ain't turn around and start to get the license plate. You ain't try to understand who these kidnappers were and where it is that they dropped you off. You just woke up one day, 2 days later, and said, you know what? I need you to drop me off at my crib. I'm fighting for my life, and now I'm ready to go home. These are some very, very, very good kidnappers, I would say. These are some awesome kidnappers.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I'm not going to lie. Who do you know that gets kidnapped and then after they're kidnapped for 48 hours and held against their will, the perpetrator says, hey, where would you like to get dropped off? Oh, your parents' house? I'll take you there. What's the address? Doesn't sound right. I also thought it was strange that we learned that the parents phoned the police to say that she was home.
Facts.
Okay. But they didn't immediately rush her to the emergency room. So that let me know that she arrived in good enough physical condition. Because obviously, if she had been raped or she was harmed, they would have instantly called the police on the way to the hospital. And of course, again, where is the toddler? Where is the toddler? We have a right to know whether or not there is a child that is still missing and potentially at risk and in danger.
Facts. And I'm going to give you another clue for me, Candace. I know you're not going to say it on the Daily Wire platform, but Anton is going to say it. Unless you're going through chemo, I don't trust nobody with the same haircut as me. And that's a fact. Unless you're going through chemo, I don't trust no woman that got the same hairstyle. Unless you're going through chemo, I don't trust no woman with the same hairstyle as me. Call me what you want. If we both kissing in bed and both of us is rubbing on each other's head like this, that's a problem. That's an issue. If I go to rub my hands through your hair and all I feel is stubble, that's an issue for me. Or if you got in your sew-in or you got on your wig, and then I go to, you put your head in the lap, and then I start to put my hand on your head, and then I keep getting my hands fucking stuck in your hair. That's an issue. Because all I feel is train tracks. Choo choo. Jugga, 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 jugga. She got a track right here, a sew-in right here, a track right here, and a sew-in right here. Yo, I'm not going to keep on dealing with you when you bald-headed, and every time I feel on you, I feel like I'm feeling on myself because you got stubble, I got stubble. You fucking forgot to shave today, and so then you going to put on your wig and straighten it up. I'm going to put on a wig today. I don't trust no woman. I don't trust no woman that got the exact same hairstyle as me. It's just a preference of mine, personally.
The mother, Carlee Russell's mother, took to Facebook. And again, I would say the sentiments were a little different coming from the family. She wrote this: "Great morning. My husband and I want to make this statement again as we did last night. It's nothing more to add or take away from how we're feeling right now. God is faithful and he has answered our prayers. We are so grateful to each of you for all the acts."
They did this on Facebook? They did this on Facebook. Oh, no.
"Kindness, generosity, and compassion that you have shown. Our baby is safe. Thank you, Father God. We do want to ask for privacy at this time to allow us to just love on our daughter and each other with our close family and friends. Also,
fuck that. Where the baby at? Yo, hashtag where the baby at? And I might get another. We need to come up with a good hashtag because you can't say where the baby at because then they're going to think that we talking about the rapper. We got to get a good hashtag. Hey, somebody in the chat give me a hashtag of what it is that we need to do in order to advocate to find this fucking 1'3" toddler that's walking through the woods and getting these women's wigs snatched off and fucking kidnapped. Somebody find me a hashtag because I think we doing the baby a disservice. Nobody's child should be walking around in the woods with Pampers on and no shirt getting these women's wigs snatched off their heads. I like that, K. Cooper. Where the baby at? Hashtag where the baby at? Hashtag Carlee Russell. Hashtag where the baby at? Where little man at? Where's Timmy? Where the baby at? I'm not resting. I will not rest. I will not close my eyes. I will not rest my beard on my laurels until I find out where this motherfucking baby is at that is getting chicks' wigs snatched off their motherfucking head.
So please consider the fact that we have not slept for 3 nights and we are mentally and physically exhausted. To our media friends, I promise we will speak with you and give a general statement in the near future, as this is an ongoing investigation. We consider the media outlets that cared enough to share the story, law enforcement agencies, special investigators, city leaders, to be our friends, and we will be respectful of all.
Ms. Bree said hashtag highway baby. Where is Carlee's baby? Hashtag Carlee's baby. Dame Smith, I like that. Hashtag we need closure. Find the highway baby. Fuck.
For everyone that has messaged or called to rejoice with us, we are so grateful for your concern.
Where the little man at?
Just as we made a commitment to not entertain negative thoughts during the time that our daughter was missing, we surely will not entertain negative thoughts or statements, unvalidated opinions, or sheer ignorance at such a joy.
Hey, you know why I love this chat? Because y'all just as messy as me. Y'all just as messy as me. Where is Carlee's baby? Fucking A.
This time, we pray that those that doubt God's power, miracles, and the power of faith will be encouraged to draw closer to Him and learn the power of positive affirmations and unwavering
faith.
God
in it, fam.
We love
I don't
each of you and are eternally indebted for your support and love. Be blessed, the Russells. So she's saying a lot, but really nothing. Alyssa. She's basically saying it's now time for you guys to all mind your own business, and we'll give an update when we're ready because we're tired, again, ignoring the fact that the public interest is now shifted toward this toddler who was allegedly walking down a freeway at 9:30 at night wearing just a T-shirt and a diaper.
Oh, no, he had a T-shirt in his panties. T-shirt in my panties on. Oh, No. Hold on. You telling me, I'm going to read your super chat shortly. You telling me that the baby had that t-shirt and her panties on. Is it a boy baby or is it a girl baby? Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Lord. Oh, Jesus, Lord, have mercy. Oh, I got to get
to Carlee Russell's 911 call shortly before she disappeared. So she calls 911. She says, I see a toddler walking down. And then she calls a relative and says, I'm going to check on the toddler. And then her relative hears a scream and Carlee goes missing. Now that Carlee's been found, they're saying that we shouldn't be asking further questions. And they're just not going to entertain anything else. Seems suspicious. A different update came from Carlee's boyfriend. Carlee's boyfriend took to Facebook. His name is Tomar Latrell Simmons, and he wrote this. I don't even know how to start off this post, but to only say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for saving my girlfriend's life. Also, thank you to everyone who shared a picture, came out to the Hoover Met to help us with the search parties, and who went and proceeded to tell other people about Carlee to bring more awareness to her story. I have been going nonstop since I received the call that she was missing on Thursday night. I know she would have done the same for me, so I wasn't going to give up until I saw her face again.
Shout out to Tony.
Tunnel vision. Even when I would get on social media in my downtime and see some of the false allegations and assumptions about me having something to do with her abduction, it would have me discouraged at times. I didn't give up and I kept my faith. I just want to thank all of my family, friends, former teammates, and church members who called or texted me just to let me know that they're praying and here for me.
Shout out to Latrell in the building.
I just don't know how much that meant to me. All I ask for everyone right now is to be respectful of Carlee's situation. She was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. So until she's physically and mentally stable again.
But a whole 48, huh? She ain't been asleep. She been fighting the whole time.
And she's not able to give any updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper at this very moment. I also want to thank people on social media who have been understanding and respectful about what she's been through in these past few days. Once again, I can't thank you guys enough for helping us bring Carlee home. God bless you all. Hashtag Carlee found. Hashtag Carlee Russell. So let's just go back to that sentence that she was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. So she's physically and mentally unstable and not willing to give any updates. Again, registers to me as odd because her parents contacted the police to say that she was home and didn't rush her to a hospital per se. But I didn't want to jump to any conclusions. I wanted to wait until the police department made a statement because family members posting on Facebook to basically say stop asking questions is not, of course, going to be the statements that are given by the police. If somebody is kidnapped, they understand that the public has a right to know that there is a kidnapper on the loose. Well, the Hoover PD did, in fact, give an update. I'm going to read you portions of it because really what they're doing is telling you what happened to Carlee on that day.
Now, this is the part that I'm curious about. I want to see what happened to Carlee because I have not seen this part. So apparently she got the police report. I'm curious as to what happened to Carlee.
They wrote, Carlee left work from a business at the Summit in Birmingham at approximately 8:20 p.m. She ordered food from a nearby business at the Colonnade and traveled there. We have worked to retrace all of her actions from the time that she left the Colonnade until she called 911, and we are well on our way to completing that task. At this point in the investigation, we have not been able to locate anyone with Carlee from the time that she left the Colonnade until the 911 call was made. Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals that were known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. The conversation with the 911 operator ended, and Carlee called a relative. So to be clear, just a pause here, she called 911 to say that she saw a toddler, a white male toddler, that was walking down the street.
It was a white male toddler. All right. A white male toddler. We getting more to the story now. Let's continue.
Hamper in a t-shirt. And then she hung up that phone and she called a relative of hers. She went missing during that conversation with her relative sometime after 9:36 p.m. after telling both the 911 operator and the relative that she had seen a male toddler in a diaper on the side of I-459 and was stopping to check on him. Traffic camera footage was obtained, which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage is still being analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call to accurately determine the time frame. Carlee's 911 call remains the only timely report of a child on.
So the only time, the only person that's seen, first of all, you're not going to tell me that people going to see a white baby. Black baby, they might be like, it might be every 3 cars, and they be like, all right, we going to figure it out. You telling me that we going to see a blue-eyed baby with a t-shirt and they diapers on, walking down the street, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Ain't nobody curious. Ain't nobody confused. Ain't nobody trying to figure it out. You don't get no other phone calls except for hers for a white baby that is walking down the highway with no shoes on, only with a diaper and a t-shirt on. Who was these white people that's kidnapping black people with white babies?
On the interstate.
Come on, man.
Now I'm going to pause here to show you the interstate because apparently there was a camera and the footage is grainy. But what you are going to see in this footage is how busy the interstate is, which is why it's weird to me, definitely strange, definitely suspect, if you will, that no one else would have phoned in seeing a toddler walking down the interstate in a diaper. I get if you don't want to stop, it's nighttime, you might think that's a little weird. But you would at least think that one person had a moral compass enough to call 911 and say, hey, this is kind of weird. There's a toddler that is walking down the interstate at 9:30 at night. Take a look at this footage. So that car that you're seeing on the right-hand side is Carlee's. You see she has her blinkers on, so cars are going slowly around her. You can see up ahead, there's a ton of cars on this interstate, all slowing.
So here's my thing. Why are you driving with blinkers on the side of the road? Because usually, listen, think about this, y'all. Let's use our context clues. If you're on the interstate, unless there's something wrong with your car, you don't pull over to the side and be cruising on the side of the road. You're usually just driving normal. Whatever the speed limit is, if it ain't an accident out there, you just driving normal. So if you see something weird, you're going to have to see it spirit of the moment, right? And so you would maybe throw your blinkers on and get over real quick, and then you would back up to whatever the issue is. You don't just be driving on the side of the road with your blinkers on until you see a white baby. So who drives on the side of the road until they see a white baby with their blinkers on? Okay, let's continue.
Down because Carlee has her blinkers on. You would think that since these cars are slowing down, that they would be paying attention to the side, people rubberneck, and they would see Carlee's vehicle. What I don't see in this footage, again, it's dark, and obviously it could very well be that she saw something that nobody else did, is a toddler walking down the interstate. You see, she's got her blinkers on, and then she comes to a full stop. Again, I just am remarking at how busy this interstate is.
So at what point was she pulled over to where she was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm on the side of the road with my blinkers on, and now I see a white baby, and so now I got to stop? Just curious.
When I first read the story, I assumed this was like an old dirt road in Alabama. Now I realize it's a very busy interstate, and I instantly thought, how strange that no one would call 911 to report this toddler walking down the street but Carlee. Now let's go back to the police statement. It continues, Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly behind. They located Carlee's wig, cell phone, and purse on the roadway near her vehicle, and Carlee's Apple Watch was in her purse. Investigators with the Crimes Against Persons Unit were notified, and the investigation immediately began in earnest with numerous leads being followed. Many local, state, and federal agencies immediately offered assistance and provided personnel and other resources to the investigation. No stone was left unturned, and the investigation continued throughout the weekend. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 Center received a call from Carlee's residence that she had returned home on foot. Hoover Police and Fire responded to the residence where Carlee was located. She was immediately transported by the Hoover Fire Department to UAB Hospital to be evaluated and was treated and released. Detectives responded to the residence and to UAB to take an initial statement from Carlee. The details of that statement are a part of the ongoing investigation, which is expected to continue over the next few days. During the initial portion of the investigation, detectives were able to retrace nearly all of Carlee's steps until the point that she went missing, and they are confident that will continue to be the case. The end is just they're grateful for the outpouring of support from the Hoover community and beyond, and all the assistance provided by our law enforcement partners, which are too numerous to name. Blah, 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 thanking #HooverPD. Now, the first thing that jumps at me regarding the statement, obviously, is what I pointed out to you before, which is that she was the only report. She was the only person that called in and phoned in this toddler. The second thing that jumps at me immediately about this report is what the police are not saying. The police didn't say, which I think would be the first thing that you would say to the public, is remain vigilant, ladies. There's a kidnapper on the loose. We don't have the kidnapper. We got Carlee. Thank you, we got Carlee. But yeah, no, there's a kidnapper on the loose. Lock your doors. Make sure that you're traveling in twos. I think that would be the responsible police department that had some information or believed any part of her story that she was actually kidnapped. You have a responsibility to inform the public that they need to be aware.
This sounds like a Tubi movie. It sounds like a Tubi movie. It sounds like some crazy shit. Why didn't they say they caught the kidnapper? Why are they still investigating what happened instead of saying that, yo, we coming after the dude that took her or the men? And why didn't they say, yeah, and we still trying to find the baby? I'm going to play a little bit more, and then we're going to move over.
No, they didn't say that at all. The second thing that jumped on me was that Carlee was only in the hospital for a few hours. And again, her parents didn't rush her to the hospital.
And if you've been fighting all your life for the last 48 hours, you should have some scars. You should have some battles, marks, the whole 9 yards.
Sent the fire truck and an ambulance over to transport her to evaluate her. And then she was treated and released in less than a day. And that's actually incredible. If you go to the emergency room, it's hard to be at the hospital for less than a day, but Carlee managed to do it. So despite her boyfriend claiming that she was kidnapped and fought for her life for 48 hours, apparently when the hospital assessed her, she was in good enough mental and physical condition to have been released within 24 hours. That just jumps at me immediately. So yeah, there are a lot of lingering questions here. The story is not adding up. And lastly, and of course, the biggest thing that the police officers failed to mention.
Where is the baby?
Is a toddler. They didn't say, please be on the lookout for a white male toddler wearing a diaper and a t-shirt. You would think that if this was a missing person, an Amber Alert of some description would go out, but the police would have a sketch. They would ask Carlee, please describe the toddler that you saw so we can release a sketch and tell the public to look out for this toddler. None of that is in the statement. Simply what they are saying is that they are going to take time to prod just Carlee's story. So yeah, something is afoot. It's not looking good for Carlee. It seems that her family calling for silence or asking for people not to ask any other questions is weird. I think that I would be very forthcoming and say, like, my daughter is healing, but remember that also there's a...
Candace already got the description, honestly. I just looked it up on the internet. I literally just looked it up and they just released a sketch. They just released a sketch. Dog, this is fucking crazy. This is crazy. They just released a sketch. Hold on, let me pull this up for y'all. This is breaking news, y'all. This is literally breaking news. This is wild. And you only gonna get it here first because this is just happening in real time on a Millionaire Morning Show. This is breaking news. They just released a sketch, yo. This is crazy. There it is. This is it. So anybody if anybody see this baby on anywhere, if anybody see this baby, you call the police immediately. You don't fast go. You don't collect $200. You find this fucking baby and you go and get whoever got him and you fucking lock him up. Jesus. Oh. Oh. This is the official sketch. This is the official sketch of the baby that tricked Carlee Russell out of her wig. It made her take her Apple Watch off. Who she was fighting for 48 hours straight before she came home. All right? So that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that. Until we find out more information on where this baby is, I'm not ever gonna rest my head on my chinny chin chin, because we need to get a fucking Amber Alert out here in Alabama for this baby. This baby at this point could be across state lines. It could be across state lines. No way that I'm gonna let a little baby with a diaper on and a white shirt walk around. Fuck you. Fuck you too. Fuck you if you're not chasing this baby. God damn it. Let me read my super chats. And I'm leaving my baby up here while I'm reading super chats too. Steven. Shout out to Steven. Said, I don't know how I'm going to get through the show. This is y'all fault. How am I going to get through the show? Oh, all right. Let me read the Cash Apps first, because this is difficult. This is a hard one. Shout out to Ruchi Reynolds in the building for the bag chasers in Richmond, VA. Shout out to Jerome Jackson for the $5. Said that's for the baby. All right. Says, nah, Anton. They say you have to be afraid of white supremacy. It's not your own people. It's not your own people. I'm leaving this baby up. And the reason that I'm leaving this baby up right here is because I want y'all to actually take a picture of this, because I don't want y'all to be outside of, we need to find this fucking baby. You know what I'm saying? So this is the description that the police released, allegedly. Philip Sadiq said, Tawana Brawley comes to mind. I agree. I'm about to change the name of this live stream to Where is the Baby? Shout out to Azriel. Kay Cooper is in the building, says, do y'all remember Sherry Papini? A white woman who faked her kidnapping in Cali in 2016. She got 18 months in jail. It does not pay to lie. Facts. Always comes back, especially with all of this technology. We're going to find out who the fuck y'all is. We're going to find out who got this fucking baby. Rob says, let me guess, after she saw the baby on the freeway, she spotted a deerbra too. Make it make sense. She spotted a deerbra. Persevere Data TV said, I think she took the wrong candy from somebody and the family is doing everything to save face. She will be out there on her own. You're not about to ruin my reputation. My dog Persevere Data TV says, I'm sure of it. She got high and became alopecia in Wonderland, and then she came home. I don't think it's no drugs. I think it's some D in there. I think it's some D out here in these streets that she getting that on. Lawrence Pearson says, hashtag leave the wig. Hashtag leave the wig and get the baby. I agree. Hashtag save the baby. Where's the boss baby? Y'all use this image. I'm going to send this out. Listen, I'm sending this out to all. I'm about to tweet this. When I get off this live stream today, stick around to the end of this live stream. I'm going to tweet it. I'm going to put it on Threads. And I want to find this fucking baby because I'm putting it on there. And I'm going to tweet this out. And I want y'all to retweet me and rethread and make sure y'all send this out to all of our friends. Man, fuck this. I'm about to get this right now. Getting this baby up. I'm not about to have these babies out here unsafe. I'm about to send this out right now. If you following me on Threads, if you following me on Twitter, you should be able to get this. Retweet it so that we can save the baby. I'm going to send this out and I want y'all to retweet it, all right? Because we got to save the babies. Shout out to my dog, Tony Williams is in the building. Says, Anton, the chick was high on a crack binge, and I won't accept anything else. Maybe I'm wrong about the drug, but definitely drug related. She a whole type. We can spot it. We can spot it, Tony. I see it, bro. I see the play too. Mr. Kendall says, the baby was an alien. He smashed for 2 days, and then he dropped her off simple. There, I fixed it. Agreed. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Persevere Data says she was fighting for her life the same way R. Kelly said he was. Persevere Data says Brenda's got a baby. I appreciate you, big dog. Tony Williams says fighting them demons. Her jaw ain't getting no sleep. And I don't want my truckers and all of my people in the office snorting because y'all laughing so hard, because this is the greatest morning show in the building. Shout out to Alvin that says, all my life I's had to fight. All my life. Protect black women. Fabian K says the reason why her Apple Watch was on her purse is because she didn't want to be traced. Oh, y'all telling me that they getting hip now. They getting hip now. All right. Silent Sniper is in the building. Shout out to the Silent Sniper. Says, remember when you stayed out late and you had to go home, so while you walk home, you tried to contemplate a story to tell your parents when you get there. We all been there, big dog. I remember I snuck out the house 2 days before Christmas. I ain't even had no excuse. I just told the fucking truth. I'm like, yeah, I went out there for a girl. Little Black Duck 2001 in the building says you owe me a new keyboard. Anton, if this is not the greatest morning show on earth, because I'm about to tweet this out. Give me a second. I'm going to bring up this new story, and then I'm going to tweet this out, all right? So shout out to the baby. Please don't say the baby. That's my new song from Lil Wayne. Please don't say the baby. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Speaking of dysfunction, is anybody in the building from Portland? Is anybody in the building from Portland? Has anybody visited Portland? I've never been to Portland before, but somebody kept pinging me. Somebody kept pinging me with regard to what was happening in Portland, and they said that Portland was worse than all of these other cities. They told me that Portland was worse than the south side of Chicago, Red Zone in Detroit, Overtown, which they now redoing down there in Miami. They said that it's worse than any of these places that I done already brought to the front of the congregation. They said that Portland has been flying under the rug, but Portland is a piece of shit. Is that true? Is anybody familiar with Portland? And how awesome or how shitty is it? Persevere Data TV said it's trash. All right, well, we're going to find out. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. I'm about to tweet this out. Make sure y'all retweet it. Make sure y'all share this on Threads so we can find out where this baby is.
This is K2 News at 6 on your side.
Remember the phrase, the city that works. It's the city that jerks. You know, I mean, how can you be this dysfunctional?
This story is brand new at 6 tonight. Pulling out of Portland. After 4 decades of doing business in the city, a local developer says he's done. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. Kevin Howard just sold his last piece of property in Oregon. K2's Angelica Thornton has more on the final straw that sent him over the river.
Ask Kevin Howard how he feels about Portland, and his emotions run the gamut. Mostly frustration as he opens the fence to his final slice of the city.
This property was listed in January of 21 for $795,000. Yesterday, we sold it for $412,000.
A big loss, but Kevin says he had nothing left in the tank.
That's over a $300,000 write-down on the value of a property that just a few years ago, see, most properties are going up. It's not going down. Most properties are going up. It's not going down. And this man said it's gotten so bad in Portland, which the person that's actually on the bottom of this is the mayor of Portland. They said it's gotten so bad in Portland, and there's such a degeneracy over in Portland that the value of the properties, and he's a builder and a developer that's pulling out of the city, has been written down by over 300,000. Listen, if you owe a nigga $5, he gonna be on your head. Hey fam, you got my $5? You got my $5? Justifiably so. But sometimes you may forget, hey yo, you did give me $10. I didn't even know that you wanted it back. I thought you was just paying for lunch. You owe a dude $10, they own your head top. If something gets written down by over $300,000, that's a problem. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let's continue.
This tiny piece of property, a former pizza parlor, has been a nightmare for the past 3 years.
The supposed homeless came in and kicked in the door, the front door, and lived in it. And I waited till they came out and I had to board it up.
But Kevin says that didn't do much. They just broke in again and again, living inside, outside, even in his dumpster enclosure, which they eventually set on fire. And Kevin tells us he got nowhere when he called police.
And I said, well, what does a homeowner do? What does a property owner do? And they said, well, call the Central City Concern. And I said, what'll they do? And they said, well, they'll probably come out and give them a cup of coffee and some hot soup.
He looked into hiring a security.
So if you call the police from breaking in your shit, they gonna say, yo, let's just give them a cup of coffee and some hot soup. I just posted this on Threads. So make sure y'all share this so we can get a safe return of the baby in the Carlee Russell case. I just posted it on Threads. Make sure y'all send this out to y'all friends and family. I'm about to put it on Twitter now.
But that was too expensive, $15,000 a month. So he decided to get a fence, but the wait was 4 months.
I said, why? And they said, because homeowners, like mad, are fencing their property to keep the drug addicts and the homeless out.
So the trash piled up and Kevin tried to keep up, but it wasn't enough. Last summer, the city hit him with a nuisance fine.
And it was $539.71.
So you can't get the person that's squatting on your property out legally. They're preventing you from being able to get the person that's squatting on your property out. Okay, cool. So since you can't get them out, they also have the ability to be able to tear your shit up. Awesome. And then you're going to get fined for it. And then you getting fined for it. I just tweeted this out. Make sure y'all share this with your friends and family. And then you're going to get fined for it. So they can break in your shit, tear your shit up, squat on it. When I was seeing that pile of trash over there, I literally seen roaches climbing through the trash. I seen a roach. I'm telling you, I seen a roach. Hold on, let me see. Where the trash at again? Let me go back to the trash. I seen a roach crawling through the trash, bro.
The fence to his final slice of the city.
This property was listed in January.
Hold on, let me see. I see a fucking roach right there. Look.
The city, a local developer says
You see it? You see it? It's right on the right-hand side. It's right on the right-hand side, Joe. It's right on the right-hand side, climbing through. You see it right there on that little branch right there? That's nasty, man. That's nasty, bruh. That's nasty, man. I will blow a whole place up if I see a roach. I'm out. I'm out immediately. Bro. That's nasty, bro.
$139.71.
Kevin paid it. A month later, he got a bigger bill. The original amount plus a penalty. The city told him they lost his check. So he paid the bill again, plus the extra $100.
2 weeks later, they sent me another bill for $639.71. I called them up, and they said, well, this might be a duplicate bill, but we've already put a lien on your property.
That's crazy, bro.
The fence was finally installed, and Kevin was able to clean up the property and eventually get the lien removed. But the drama dragged on for more than 6 months.
I just remember the phrase, the city that works. That it's the city that jerks. You know, it's I mean, how can you be this dysfunctional?
We reached out to the bureau that fined Kevin, Development Services. They confirmed there was an error, telling us the issue was resolved and there's no outstanding balance owed. We also asked Mayor Ted Wheeler's office for an interview. Wheeler has been vocal about improving livability, reducing taxes and fees, restoring people's faith in Portland.
People are picking up and they are leaving our community.
A spokesman told us the Bureau of Development Services is not under Mayor Wheeler's portfolio. Commissioner Carmen Rubio's office did not get back to us.
In the last year, 23,000, 13,000 for the fence.
Dang.
CD clean.
He had to pay $13,000 just to get a fence, yo. $13,000 for the fence, and then you can't get nobody to help you. City officials are. It's laughable because city officials are supposed to be there. The police are supposed to be there to protect the citizens and the people that's actually doing the thing that's right for you. If you can't get any kind of protection or love or anybody that work with you, one of the reasons why I like to build and work with some of the people that I do inside of the cities that I'm in, as far as whether it's from a business perspective or whatever, is because they learn about you. They love you, right? I know my police officers. I know my sheriffs. I know my city council members. I know my people. And so when I work with them or when I come down there, they're actually working on my behalf because they understand that I'm pouring into the city and not taking out of it. He paid 13 bands for that fence.
Clean up, painting the building.
$23,000 in 1 year just to manage this mess. But Kevin, who founded Northwest Self-Storage and owns 70 properties over the past 4 decades, says it isn't about this one address.
I've been all over the world. I live in Australia for a couple years. I've been in all 50 states and all over. And I came back to Portland and I came back to Oregon because I loved it. I loved the people, the greenery, the lifestyle, and
this
That's
was
heartbreaking,
just
yo.
the last straw.
Sorry.
And the bittersweet ending to his life and work in Oregon.
This dude is about to have a fucking meltdown. He's literally about to have a meltdown because he's so bad. He said he's owned over 70 properties. And he's so broken by how broken the city has become. But here's the problem, is that this is just a reflection of what it is that we see happening across America. It's not just Portland. It's Seattle, it's Portland, it's Chicago, it's Alabama. It's cities down in Florida, Texas. Well, we ain't even going to say anywhere. Listen, Sacramento, you take your pick over there in California. It's bad across the entire United States of America. Listen. I've traveled Gary, Indiana. I've traveled and I've explored so many cities in my lifetime. I went inside of a church in Gary, Indiana because I was doing an exploration and I actually documented it on my channel and I fell through the floor. That was one of the reasons why I stopped doing urban exploration, because I fell through the floor of the church. I fell through the floor of the church. It was so unsafe and it was so trash. I never thought that when I grew up that this country would be so destroyed and it would be so under the thumb of liberal leadership that we find ourselves in a space that's unsafe and that we can't actually do anything in order to make it better for our kids that's coming after us. I never thought I'd get to a point in my life to where every city that I traveled to coast would be so bad and it would be so horrendous, to where we grow up within my small 41 years on this earth, we grow up and you can't go to a city without it being homelessness scattered everywhere. When I went to DC, when I go out to LA, there's homeless camps everywhere. People are literally fighting for a parking spot to be able to sleep at night. I'm telling y'all, man, van life is not because people are looking to be able to free themselves and live the fire life. It's because people are poor. Van life is because people are poor. That's why it's so popular on YouTube. I remember one time when my daughter, she was really, really young, because she's 15 now. I remember when she was like, yeah, we should do van life one day, Dad. was like, no, we not. Ain't no good internet connection. What if somebody steal our house? At 15, I was like, hey, Les, you still want to do van life? She said, Dad, that's for the birds. We not doing no van life. She's like, as a matter of fact, let me send you some of these mansions because, Dad, I think it's time for us to upgrade. Me and my friends want to play basketball without having to go out and do it. No van life, bro. No van life for me.
There's more behind this sign than one might think. It's another side effect of Portland's drug and homeless crisis, draining residential neighborhoods like this one off Southeast 76th and Foster.
There's camps on every corner and things have just gotten out of hand since COVID.
Susie, like many other Portlanders, want out. She's been trying to sell her home for months.
Well, since June 1st, there's been a camp on my corner, so the showings have been canceled. Some don't.
Since June 1st, they just set up a homeless camp on the corner of the street, bro. Since June 1st, they said, listen, this looked like a good place to be able to pitch a tent. The concrete is nice and smooth over here. Over in San Francisco, they taking a dump on the street. Listen, it is not uncommon for you to walk down the street in San Francisco and see feces on the ground. It is not uncommon for you to walk down the street in San Francisco, one of the highest costs of living in the entire United States, and see a bunch of boo-boo on the ground.
Don't want to get out of their car, even come to the door.
She's even dropped the price, $15,000.
How do I feel? Sad. Sad for the whole city, sad for the neighborhoods, sad that this is going on and it feels like no one's even making a difference or doing anything.
I know how much she wants out of here. I know how long she's been here. It's time for her to go, and she can't.
Her daughter, Mandy, has watched her report.
Look at that. Look at that, y'all. Look at this. Just right across the street, they was like, listen, this ain't your place. This is our place now. If you go over and you possibly looking to buy a home in a specific neighborhood and then you seen somebody pitch a tent and they just set up a whole homeless camp and then they using your water hose in order to shower in the morning, what type of shit is this? But see, what I keep telling y'all is that this ain't happening in just the black neighborhood. See, they not going over into your neighborhood and pitching a tent. They going over into the nice communities now. They going over into the nice communities now. Asians, Palestinians, Indians, white people, affluent black people, they coming to your city. They're coming to your city and they pitching a tent and they gonna have a camp out and they gonna walk all over your motherfucking lawn, dog.
To report the camps to no avail.
I feel like Portland
and they bringing their
has
toys.
a responsibility
have
to
some more
clean up, to get their act together.
I can understand, I guess where they're coming from.
Dustin lives in the homeless camp across the street. He sees how it affects the neighborhood.
Look at this. You think he care about your property values? You think he care about your upcoming listing? This is normal, bro. This is normal. I'm telling you. Especially in warmer climates. This is normal in warmer climates. And so they feel comfortable lining up on your grass, using your water hose, and lowering your property taxes. Because the value of your crib is going down.
Well, it makes me feel bad for her.
Though Dustin faces common barriers, like no ID and an addiction to fentanyl.
It's not very fun. It's not very fun at all.
It wasn't a problem until we started talking about that fentanyl and that opioid crisis. It wasn't a problem. Listen, when it was in the black communities, it was like, wall that shit off, white flight, we got the resources to be able to get the hell up out of here. Now that fentanyl is wreaking havoc is coming to a neighborhood near you. And they importing it. They getting it in there. And my man is not, he not addicted to heroin. He ain't even got that monkey on his back. He got that fentanyl. Y'all not familiar with the fentanyl crisis? Do I need to do a whole show on that tomorrow? He got that dog on him. He got that dog on him. He got that fentanyl, bro. I'm telling you.
This campsite off Southeast Foster and 76th has been posted for removal. Those who live nearby say the city won't be able to address it until late July.
Well, what is she supposed to do? She's just supposed to sit it out until the end of July?
The city's latest data shows they've received nearly 3,000 new campsite reports in a week.
3,000 in Portland, Oregon. Over 3,000 new campsites. That's insane, bro. Think about that, bro. Over 3,000 new campsite reportings. I'm bringing y'all this news because I need y'all to understand that I'm right. Homelessness, fentanyl, poverty, addiction, inflation, it has no face on it anymore. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. And what I'm trying to tell y'all is that the reason that we bag chasers is because we're going to capitalize off of the gnashing of teeth because there is no middle road. It is a class war. It is not a race war. The majority of the people that's living this van life, that's homeless, that's walking around in fucking Venice Beach and in California and Portland, Oregon and Seattle, the majority of people is white people. I'm telling you. They don't have, listen, your federal government does not have solutions to how to solve for this. They don't have solutions for how to solve for this. They don't have a plan. They don't have solutions. They're not putting people back to work. They're not removing the drug problem. They're not getting people clean and locked up. They're not solving for the issues that you have within your community. It's just going to get exponentially worse. And the more unaffordable life becomes, the more people are going to turn to drugs. The more of a class division that it is, the more the middle class goes away. This is what the fuck you're going to see. I was reading the other day about the upcoming hurricane season that's about to hit Florida. And I've been telling y'all that I refuse to invest in Florida and all of the insurance companies are walking away. Don't you realize that these insurance companies is reading the same reports and they refusing to renew y'all policies down in Florida because they understand what the fuck is coming? They say that this upcoming hurricane season is going to be one of the worst on record. They got record heat wave over in several cities, including all throughout Arizona. Is record. It's a record in the temperatures that's hitting Arizona. They say the upcoming hurricane season in Florida is going to be catastrophic and going to be worse than any other time in history. And y'all sitting here playing this game with me, y'all not making informed decisions. Y'all just running around like people with your head cut off, not planning for the future, not being intentional about how it is that you're going to prepare for what's going on out here in these streets. Okay. Eventually you're going to see it my way. One way or another, you're going to come over to the front of the congregation. One way or another, you're going to see it my way. I'm right. One way or another, you're going to see it my way. Join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Persevere Data TV is in the building, says, when the Dame Lillard trades go down, it's going to be Nuke Town. Big Podcast says, I'm glad my grandma didn't live to see this city go down the drain like this. It used to be beautiful there. Ian says, same reason nobody want to come play with Dame. Persevere Data TV says, I went earlier this year. Police needed presence in hotel lobbies because the homeless would chase you into the buildings. Zombies. Craig G says, I got the job, big dog. Hey, hold on. Wait. Can we get a round of applause for the young man that went through and looked at the Patreon video, my interview like a king, that almost guarantees you, I don't want to say definitively because it's too much human error in there, but definitively looked at the video, tapped into the Patreon, bag chasers, and came back and said, Anton, I got this big job, big dog. Big job for big bag chasers. Big jobs for big bag chasers. If you got an upcoming interview, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Can we get a round of applause for the bag chasers out here in the building that's running the numbers up, not down? Running the numbers up, not down. Let me give another round of applause for my big dog. Shout out to you, big dog. Congratulations. Young Capsule says, yeah, nah. Shout out to Young Capsule. I appreciate you for the super chat. Let's continue on with the show. I got one more thing that I want to share with y'all before we get up out of here. I like to leave y'all with something a little bit more educational. If you tend to just want to get into the messiness, then this is not the part for you. But there's a transition, and they're trying to solve for an abundance of retail space and office space that is largely vacant because people are still not going back into the office. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to change your schools. They're trying to change your locations of where it is that you live and all of these office buildings and these vacancies into residential units. And I'm curious as to what it is that you guys think about that. Again, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock out.
Many American offices are sitting empty.
New numbers showing 94 million square feet of empty office space in Manhattan. That is an all-time record.
Huge investors like Blackstone and Brookfield are staring down defaults in their office portfolios.
Here's the one thing that I noticed when I went over into New York, right? Because I walked around Manhattan, I walked around Brooklyn. It is a lot of building going on in that space. They are building so much stuff. It's so many people. It's so much construction. I know that they said a lot of people walked away from New York, but I was looking around like, where? Where they at, though? Because it seemed like it was a lot of people that was trying to get over to New York. It was so many people and so much building and so many offices and so much residential spaces that was going up in New York. I was like, where they at, though? Who walking away? Because it looks like there's more housing coming up in here.
Meanwhile, finding an affordable apartment can feel impossible, which has a lot of mayors talking.
We have a great opportunity to change the mix of uses in the downtown.
Make it easy. Hey, the mayor of D.C. is a black woman? Hold on, let me back up. I didn't know the mayor of D.C. was a black woman. Why y'all ain't tell me this? Why didn't y'all tell me that the mayor of D.C., shout out to Just Foxy, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Why y'all ain't tell me that the mayor of D.C. was a black woman?
Opportunity to change the mix of uses in the downtown.
Make it easier to convert unused office space to housing.
So the thing about office to apartment conversions is it sounds like a great idea. Nobody's going to the office. We need more housing supply. Why not just turn all the office buildings into apartments?
Not that simple, ma'am.
Not quite as simple as it sounds.
Not every office building makes for a great conversion. Not every conversion should be done. Not every building should be converted.
In some cities, the laws are making conversions difficult.
It was about 3% of the New York stock that we saw as being convertible. And that took into account differential of price between offices and apartments, which has not actually diverged as much as people may think.
But in places that have a lot of older office buildings, there's a lot of conversion activity happening.
Some big cities are looking at incentives for developers who convert buildings into housing.
A lot of people don't understand that what developers tend to do a lot of times is that they're waiting for the incentives from the city in order to then make the adjustment, because it's very, very expensive. Very, very, very expensive for you to convert an office building over into residential units. Let me say it one more time. It may sound like a novel idea, but it is very, very expensive and very, very daunting task for people to invest. And you got to remember, A lot of this is not easy to do when it's not institutional, right? So most legislative branches can't actually do anything. They can't fix inflation. They can't fix anything that's going on within the city. What they can do is incentivize people to go over and do it themselves. They can foster good relationships. They can foster good business partnerships. They can create a tax incentive for you to come in and do the things that's actually going to build the tax base and then create more affordable housing, so on and so forth. But most cities have no clue on how to look at things from a business perspective and how to run their cities more effectively in order to spur investment and spur the change that's needed in order to change over into a modern city.
He does things in the real estate world out of the goodness of their heart.
Shout out to Cliff.
We have to find ways to either require or incentivize these things to happen.
And you can't really require it unless you're a city like New York, in which people want to be there in order to do business, because a lot of companies will just move and they'll say, well, we're going to relocate over into Florida. I know a lot of companies moved over into Nashville. A lot of people moved over into Nashville.
What's stopping cities from converting more offices into apartments? And what challenges do developers face when taking on these massive endeavors? The office conversion trend is heating up in a small group of cities led by Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia.
We are right now in the Poplar building in Philadelphia. The building was built approximately 100 years ago as offices and manufacturing space for Strawbridge's Clothiers. It was a giant department store in the last century.
This building is one of several conversions conducted by the Post brothers.
Physically, may have had some characteristics that people might think would make for a tough conversion. For instance, it's 100 feet wide by 400 feet long.
That means lots of dark interior space.
The first consideration for a lot of these buildings is about access to light and air. That's why you see in some situations...
Hey, hold on. He got good jobs for Queens in the background. What the fuck does that mean? I'm not just going to skip over the seat. The way that my mind works and the way that my eyes veer off a lot of times, I could be listening to what you're saying, but I'm paying attention to all of the different things that's going on in your background. He got a sign that said good jobs for Queens in the background. Oh, my bad. I guess he's talking about Queens. That's where he's from. I thought it was saying Queens like girls with crowns on their head. He's saying for Queens, the city. Queens in New York. All right. Listen, I get it. I misread it. That's why I got the chat. That's why I like to do live streams, so that I can better understand exactly what's being conversated over here. Because the way my brain works, I'm like, what Queens? You got some hoes on the payroll? But y'all talking about the borough. All right. I'll get it. Let them finish explaining what it is that he believes, and I'm going to be reading super chats surely. I'm a C student like a motherfucker.
Real creative redevelopment of these buildings where people are driving a core into the middle of the...
I don't know why y'all made me as popular as I am on YouTube. I don't know why y'all made me y'all go-to for the morning show. I ain't no good. I ain't no good. I am a fucking C student that just so happened to get lucky out here and get rich. And I be clowning and I be talking shit and I don't have no good sense. And y'all tune in faithfully every day to watch me clown on these motherfuckers.
Building to allow for additional windows in the middle.
We took a building that was a perfect rectangle, carved it into an E.
It's extremely complicated. It's expensive.
You also have issues of where does the plumbing lines run? And it sounds silly, but you gotta have a bathroom in every apartment or more than one. And if you only have a single line of plumbing or a single area of plumbing, because think about the offices, the bathrooms are only in one part, it's gonna be much more expensive to convert that.
Builders call this technique remassing.
So let me ask y'all a question, because I am incredibly fascinated with architecture and old buildings, and I like the fact that we repurpose them, and I like the new buildings and stuff like too. But let me ask y'all a question. Would y'all live in a repurposed building that used to be an office space or a school turned into an apartment building or a loft or anything like that? Would you guys live in a building that was repurposed, redesigned. Are you guys as obsessed with architecture or the novelty of the history of certain places and certain buildings or whatever like that? Or would you completely remove yourself from it and you only care about single family homes, or if you are going to stay in an apartment, a traditional style apartment? I see a couple people saying nope. Rashid said nope. K Godfather said nope. Chris Thomas. Bella said depends on the vibe. Trendy Lock says yes. K Cooper says yes. Ash says nope. Depends. No sir. If it's done right. They said Anton is an A+ student. I appreciate it. I would make the adjustment. I love the fact that they building a new Hudson's building here in Detroit. I'm gonna have a place in there. If I were in the city, yes, says Mr. Hylel. Mrs. Crotty said, he said yes. Yes, loft style. We have a funeral home that converted into a hotel. Oh no.
And it comes in different levels of intensity. The Poplar
you want to live in a Packard building?
Received a light touch.
Oral Ollie?
We have units that are 50
Packard
feet
building
deep.
is wild. Have y'all ever been on the Packard site? I've been there plenty of times. I explored it. I also probably still got an exploration video up on it on my channel. The Packard building site is wild, man. Oral Ollie, you got a whole nother sentiment. I feel you though. I feel you.
To the typical, 25 to 30 feet deep. We were able to make them work with things like what are called borrowed light bedrooms or interior bedrooms with a light, and make really attractive layouts, even though the floor plate.
It look good, y'all.
Converted apartments tend to be pricey, much like other real estate in the U.S.
In a hot market where there's a lot of demand for housing and a lot of growth, such as
See, I don't like that. When I'm looking at that right there, let's say I'm on a plane and I'm flying. Shout out to Oral Ollie, one of my original people that subscribed to the channel, said she used to watch me back in the bike life days. I appreciate you. Yeah. When I look at this right here, right, and let's say I'm flying in on a plane and I'm overlooking it or whatever, for me, this is death to me. I can't stand the cookie cutter, suburban, build out a cul-de-sac, and then now it's just got a whole bunch of the same exact houses back to back to back to back. I like brownstones. I like skyscrapers. I like architectural marbles. I like all that. When I see this says to me, I'm gonna go here to die. My life is over. I have nothing else interesting to do. I just want to live a normal, boring. This says boring to me. Honestly, this is boring to me. I don't want to live, and I know it's a lot of people that prefer to live here. I like to be in the city. I like to be moving and shaking. I like open floor spaces and floor plans. I will live in a place that don't even have a shower and just fucking shower at the gym or something, rather than live somewhere here. It's not me. I can't do it. I can't do it where the only place that's around you is a Walmart and a fucking Dairy Queen. You got a Walmart, a Dairy Queen, a Panera Bread, and a Domino's around you. You can't get no good, decent food on DoorDash. Ain't no unique spots and places. Ain't no hot spots. You can't go to no hookah. You can't go do nothing. Anywhere you drive, it's going to take you 45 minutes in order to get to the city or the airport. I'm straight. This is horrible for me. For me and my personality, this is horrible for me.
San Francisco, that conversions
shout out to Mike Dub. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly.
10% of the housing need.
Now that looks like life to me. That, on the flip side, this looks like people, vibes, hitting spot at night, dive bar over here on the side. You know what I'm saying? This looks like back alley that got some kind of spot where you got to go through the door and then everybody is having a good time and dancing and all of this other type of stuff. You said DoorDash is very available in the suburbs. Yeah, but not the restaurants. The restaurants is fucking trash. You're going to get you a Applebee's. You're going to get you a Chili's. You're going to get you a Domino's. 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be anything worthy of having a conversation about.
Address maybe 10%.
Shout out to Night Train. I appreciate you. Come on and join the Bag
That still
Chasers.
leaves the other 90%. And so there's clearly like a need to think bigger about how we're going to build more housing.
Back in Philadelphia, the typical household makes enough to afford about $1,300 in rent a month. At the Poplar, single bedrooms can rent for $2,000 a month. Then there are projects like the Atlantic, where units can rent for $3,000 to $6,000 a month.
And see, that's the thing. I pay for this. I would pay to have a completely different yet better experience that's more ideal and would actually, see, I pay for lifestyle. I don't pay for all of that other type of stuff. That's why it's so difficult and why I'm moving in a very difficult way, in that it's hard for me to, I will pay an egregious amount of money to be in the center of all of the action. Once you get to a certain space in your life, you care about experiences. You don't care about a bunch of space with more drywall up. I don't need a whole lot of space. I just need a whole lot of opportunity to get out and about and get active and do whatever it is that I want to do. I don't want a lot of space like that. I don't want a lot of grass. I think that that forestry and grass and land, that should be relegated to, let the trees suck out the CO2 out of the air so that we can have better breathing and we can fight climate change or some shit. Right? I don't like the idea that we have to tear down more stuff in order to create an environment where we can build more stuff. I'd like to go in and redo the stuff that we already have instead of continuing to spread out. That way we need better city planners. That's really what it all comes back down to.
It was a 1920s Beaux-Arts office building. We finished the conversion in 2019. There, for instance, we made a lot of structural modifications. As an office building, it had old mechanical systems that took up basically.
Shout out to Mr. High-Low. I'm 100% with you, big dog.
Making those major structural modifications, it's to allow for really high quality amenities.
The Post Brothers portfolio includes 12 buildings in the Mid-Atlantic with plans for expansion.
We're generally 96% occupied at all places, and there might be 1 or 2 weeks where there's downtime between the old tenant and the new tenant. That's what we call frictional vacancies, so that's really the only vacancy we have.
There's a very different story unfolding in office districts.
Office vacancy rates are pretty high right now in terms of historical context. The highest that we ever recorded, and that was 19.3% vacancy rate on average. And that was a really stressed period. New York's hovering around 12-13% right now.
That's a bad sign for investors.
Some of the office REIT stocks have been really hammered, down over 50%, just because of the back to work, which is not going as well as some might have expected.
How the streets feel in downtowns has changed a lot in the past 3 years. Not all of those changes are permanent. It is necessary for downtowns and cities to address that perception.
Though many offices are quiet, they're not completely empty. That's a challenge for developers.
I think the actual vacancy status or occupancy status is really the single most important prerequisite for conversion, much more.
Here's my goal. Fuck all that. I think what my next project is gonna be, because I was actually having a conversation with somebody that I was coaching through, and it's a coaching session, but we also really good friends. And I'm like, I think my next project is to build a space where I can live, work, and play all in the same area. So ideally, what I would do is I would buy a building that I would then make my studio space. And then I would probably create an oasis to where I would have a rooftop and all of this stuff. And I would actually live in the building too. So I would have the upstairs. So I would own, my goal is to probably do something like this. I want to buy the whole building, renovate the whole building, have retail space, including the studio space and stuff like that within the building. Creative spaces, computer spaces, whatever. But basically make the whole building my oasis, including livable space at the top of it, maybe move some of my friends and some units and make them units, and then create a rooftop And you know what I'm saying? In the summertime, we partying and all of that shit. I think that like that's my goal. Like to just find a building, renovate it, and make it everything that I want it to be. Create a compound. Stay on the top floor, stay on the penthouse, and had a whole top dope as fuck. Walk downstairs, catch the train, catch the public transportation, go over and do whatever it is that we want to do and live, work, and play all in the same area. That's what I want to do. My goal is I think ultimately to buy a building and then make it everything that we wanted it to be. Like a firehouse. Yep, just like that. Like a firehouse. Just take a former firehouse, turn it into a dope fucking space. But I do not. Once my daughter gets to a certain age, I'm fucking out of the suburbs. I'm in a great space right now because my building is brand new. I got underground parking. It's the exact distance for where it is that I need to be in order to get back and forth to my office. All of my rental properties is all around in the same area. My daughter is straight and it overlooks the water. So it's a dope space. It's a dope temporary space for me at that particular time. And I'm building some properties right around in that same area. But as far as what my long-term lifestyle is, man, listen, I love my studio. I could stay in my studio for 2 weeks straight and be straight. I got a bed in there. I got a whole wardrobe over there. I got shoes. I got everything over there. My studio is fucking lit. I got a refrigerator over there. We got the studio. We got the views. We got the windows. We got everything over in this bitch. So eventually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably try to purchase a building and renovate it and make it what it is that we want it to be. But that's what my dream is. That's my dream. I know we all got different dreams, but that's my dream. Let me read some more super chats and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Shout out to Just Foxy Roxy. Shout out to Just Foxy 9 in the building. I appreciate you for the 2-ball. Thank you for contributing into the platform. I appreciate you. Also, shout out to Cliff Williams, my dog, straight up there from Canada. I appreciate you. Says, having experience dealing with these buildings, that's a bad idea for a number of reasons. Expensive, building codes, etc. Now, Cliff is one of my go-tos because he knows a lot about what it is that I'm putting together. So shout out to Cliff. Bar to the bag chasers. My girl, Messy. I love Messy. Messy is out here in this building, says, best content on YouTube. Best content on YouTube. Shout out to Messy Mathematician, got the best name, and I love her photo. Just Foxy 9 says, what should I do to succeed in life as a 14-year-old? Email me at AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. I got a soft spot in my heart for the young bulls. Your biggest thing, though, let me just give you a little bit of general information. Your biggest thing as a 14-year-old, your biggest thing, hear me out, big dog, is that the goal is not to have self-inflicted wounds at 14 because you limited as to the amount of things that you can do. So you can't necessarily go out and work. You can't move out of your house. You're not going to be able to sit there, and, you know what I'm saying, and go to college or some shit like that. So you want to prepare yourself by then putting yourself in a position to really leverage once you get in a position of power, because success is when opportunity meets preparation. So when you finally graduate and you finally get out of school, you're going to be in a space to where you can grow and then you can start leveraging, but you don't want to do the same thing that everybody else do. You don't want to go over to a major university unless you got a scholarship. So you don't want to go out there and waste a bunch of money and get a bunch of debt. You want to start preparing and doing research as to the fields that you want to go into. Don't have no kids out of wedlock. Don't fuck up your money. Don't fuck up your bag. Don't put yourself in a position to be having addictions. Right now, at 14, you want to prepare for what it is to come. And you don't want to have any self-inflicted wounds. Don't get caught up with hanging out with homies that's not going to be there. Because I'm going to tell you, after high school, most of the people that you think was cool or most of the people that you was rolling with, they not going to be there no more, bro. You're never going to see them again. You're never going to be in a space like all of the stuff that you think is cool and we going to be bros forever. You're not even going to be cool with the motherfuckers. Half them dudes is going to be in jail. The other half is going to be getting caught up in child support with a baby mama. Focus on self-development and do not have any self-inflicted wounds. Spend as much time as you possibly can in the library, reading Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Winning by Tim Grover, My guy, read David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me. Random Walk Down Wall Street. Immerse yourself in books and content. That way, when you have the opportunity to really take advantage of it, you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge base. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Napoleon Hill. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. If you missing all of these books, just rewind it. Rewind it again. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. David Goggins, You Can't Hurt Me. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The Cash Flow Quadrant. Both of those are by Robert Kiyosaki. Random Walk Down Wall Street. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Tim Grover's Winning. Buffetology. Right? Read all of those books. Immerse yourself in a gulf of knowledge. Immerse yourself in so many knowledgeable books. Understand the nature of women. Right? Go and read Pimps Up. Go and watch the documentary Pimps Up, Hoes Down so you can understand the nature of women and how people move. Not so that you can become a pimp, but so that you can actually understand what's really out here and what you're going to be facing. Right? I know it seems unconventional, but I'm telling you, you need to study this stuff and you need to really understand what the fuck is going on. Roll with me. Make sure you subscribe to the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to guide you through it. Make sure you subscribe to my other channel. I'm going to make sure I give you both the game from a financial perspective and from a business perspective, and we're going to run that shit up. All of those books are required reading. Every last one of those books that I just said is required reading. Iceberg Slim, that's a good book. It's because it helps you to understand the nature of people and women, right? Because then you are able to understand the business perspective of what relationships really look like. They're all transactional. So understand all of that. Understand all of that. Outliers. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Freakonomics. All of those books. Outliers. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Freakonomics. Those is good to start with. Those are good to start with. All right. That's a phenomenal question. I like those. Shout out to Just Foxy. My dog, Justin K, is in the building, says, big dog. That's exactly what my job offer is. Turning vacant buildings into condos. It's incentivized by the government. I think I'm going to pass. We might need to have that conversation, though, Justin. It might be a lot of money in that. The Bible goes without saying, Chucky girl. The Bible, listen, a lot of people don't really understand the Bible. The Bible is one of the greatest business books of all time. I know we like to look at all of this other type of stuff. The Bible is one of the greatest. If you don't even read it for its religious purposes, the Bible is one of the greatest business books of all time. It teaches you fuck your feelings. It teaches you how to leverage what it is that you have, that people are rewarded according to their efforts and not necessarily because they're automatically, you know what I'm saying, blessed. Everybody is not loved. As a matter of fact, the Bible is a if-then statement. Its entire premise is based off of an if-then statement. If you do my will, then you'll be blessed as a result of it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. Teaching you not to worship money, but then if you do the right thing and you go about doing it the right way, that God will require you to go through a certain way of doing it to where you can't skip steps, so you learn the lesson and you gain the character along the way. But it's a lot. I don't want to keep going through it. But yeah, man, yes, my love. Make sure that you go about reading all of those books. It's absolutely imperative for your success. Prince Elien says, good morning, Mr. Daniels. Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver, BC's biggest problem is their politics. I agree. They are uber progressive cities that govern way in the name of virtue. They got worse after 2020, and I think it's going to get even worse. Thank you for the super chat. Pat5 says they're going to lose money because I know a lot of businesses that pay upwards of $1 million a month for one floor. Shout out to Pat Fobbs. Let's have that conversation. Shout out to my dog Mike Dub is in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. Mike Dub, what up, what up, what up? Shout out to Anton. I appreciate you. My dog, Executive Suite MLE says I missed the whole show. Oh, you missed a hoot of a good time, big dog. You missed a hoot of a good time, big dog. Says I gotta catch the replay. I was thinking in a meeting. I want to talk to you about my YouTube channel, and I'll send you an email. Bet. Executive Suite MLE, hit me up, big dog. You missed a hoot of a good time. One thing is for sure is you got to make sure that you take advantage of this. This is the baby that was missing in Alabama that Carlee Russell got destroyed. Hold on. I'll come back to that. Yo, hit me up, big dog. Levite Apparel says, Anton, feed the future, at least to success. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Let me read one more super chat. My dog, Prince L.E.N. says, thank you for that book list, Mr. Daniels. I was just thinking last week about asking you what books you found valuable to read. I read a lot of different books all at the same time. Right now, I'm actually rereading the Bible again for the 8th time. I'm reading the Bible again for the 8th time. Somebody gave me a Bible in Spanish at the Patreon meetup as a thank you, so I got to learn Spanish too. Yeah. So again, let me leave y'all with this. Police I put this on my Threads account, on my Instagram, and on Twitter. Police has recently released a sketch of the baby. They described the baby as a white child with pull-ups and a white shirt on that was able to distract Carlee Russell enough to be able to get her wig snatched off, kidnapped so she could fight for her life for 48 hours, and then be able to walk home and get dropped off by whoever her kidnapper is. So I want y'all to take this serious. I don't want y'all to ever get distracted by a baby. Hold on. I don't want y'all to get distracted, okay? This is the sketch that the police released, all right? Be very, very careful not to pull over for any white babies with a white shirt and pull-ups on in Alabama, all right? They may be across the... they may be across state lines at this point. We don't know. We got to find out where this baby is and why it is that this woman was so distracted easily and smitten by this baby, okay? Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the Millionaire Morning Show. You guys are the greatest audience ever. But I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Don't get kidnapped by babies. Make sure that you share this with your family. Make sure you share it with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Life is good, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.